actually, I think first is this group to an SCM, a special council meeting, consider a couple of items that no decision really was made on. So I'd like to open the meeting at 5:01 p.m. and acknowledge traditions of the Nama people whose land we are gathered here today. And also, as usual, just notify all attendees that this will be a live streamed meeting and a recording of the meeting will be made. 2 is the record of attendance and apologies and leave absence previously approved. We have all councillors here, apart from Councillor Simpson as an apology due to a family issue that he had to deal with. And Councillor Harris, last I heard, was stuck out at the Cape. Presume Cape Lambert. It's a couple of capes, but I'm not sure he's going to make it. And we have all staff. 3 is public question time. Do we have any questions from the public?
We haven't received any.
No. 4, declarations of interest. Does anyone have a declaration of interest they'd like to put forward? Well, it might just wait 2 seconds. I see Martin's that's all over, isn't it? Yes.
We can record that Councillor Byrne was out of the room at 5:01.
See for the bottle and a half, so. Okay, 5:03 p.m. Okay, and then item 5 is project and infrastructure reports, being the cleaning services tender outcome with the officer's recommendation, page 5, and that is that council accept tender submitted by Karratha Cleaning for service package 2, Karratha Leisurepex for service package 4, Porter Headquarters and service package 6 for Eastern Corridor facilities, Bypart Enterprise for service package 3, and Karratha Airport and service package 5, the administration facilities, and Blue Hat Group trading as Damwell Cleaning Services for service package 1. And 2, authorise the CEO to execute contracts with Karratha Cleaning, Bypart Enterprise and Blue Hat Group as Damwell Cleaning Services. Right. Can I have someone move this motion? Councillor Swaffer. Someone to second the motion? Councillor Gillam. Is there anyone against the motion?
Can we please talk about the confidential items, the information?
Yes, there's items on the table. If people would like to talk, would like to go into camera and talk about some of the confidential matters within the tender documents, we can certainly do that. So can I have someone moving the camera? Councillor Swaffer, Executive. Councillor Furlong. I'll have to ask all the members of the public to leave the
It's not about that camera.
Where is this camera?
It's a term. Okay. All right.
Okay, all right. If everyone is ready, we have the officer's recommendation. We have it on the table. It was just a reminder. It was moved by Councillor Swaffer, seconded by Councillor Gillam. So before we go any further, do we have anyone that wants to put up another option? No? Right. Was there anyone against the officer's recommendation? No. Well, then that is carried. Okay.
Can we talk for the motion?
Yes. Councillor Soft, would you like to speak for the motion?
I would like to speak for it, given the fact that I would like to be against it at our council meeting and being here tonight. So, the reason for not supporting it originally was obviously for our small business in the community already, and not understanding some of the information that we were originally provided. I'm in support of new businesses coming to our community too, which is super important, and that growth and opportunity we don't want to turn away, but at the same time remain mindful of housing and staffing pressures that we continue to face locally. And it's something that, for me, I couldn't ignore that at last week, but I want to say I appreciate the presentation that the director has given us this evening with the additional information provided on that, and understanding that, the housing component is only one facet of the methodology utilised in relation to the tender process. So the additional information that we've been able to gather, I think, has been able to balance, for me, the rationale between the service packages and how they've been divided up.
Councillor Gillam.
I also spoke for this motion last Monday night. I think that I appreciated the extra information that we've been given today, and I enjoyed having that extra context and knowledge. However, I do think that the staff followed an exhaustive and comprehensive tender process, and I feel comfortable that you've done your job very well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak for the motion? No? All right. Well, I'd like to say as well that, I want to thank the staff as well for putting in an enormous amount of effort. We went out for a tender however many months ago it was, and then we've gone back out and gone back to that negotiation, which put an exhaust on the staff, the businesses that tendered for the packages. A lot of effort's been put in to arrive to a decision, and I want to appreciate and acknowledge that that's been an undertaking that the staff of the city have had, and the local businesses that put in tenders. That it does take a lot of time and effort. You factor the dollar figure into doing that, it's considerable. And I want to thank everyone for the open discussion, and that we've arrived to a point where we could make a decision. So thank you for that. So that motion is carried, and we will go on to item 6, which is the CEO officer reports, and 6.1, the City of Karratha's position on electoral reforms, of which we also did not have a decision. So the officer's recommendation is on page 10. The council, in light of the lost motion at the ordinary council meeting on the 23rd of February 2006, support the continuation of voluntary voting for local government elections, and 2, support the continuation of spilling half of the council every 2 years. Now, would we like to suspend standing orders to have a conversation around this matter, or is everyone comfortable? We've put them to, I just want to get an indication.
Okay.
Otherwise, I guess I'm going to move it. And if anyone has anything further they'd like to say after it's moved, please let me know. So can I have someone move this recommendation, this motion? Councillor Furlong, seconded. Councillor Johansson. Mind blank then. Is anyone against this motion? Councillor Gillam. Right. In that case, Councillor Fairland, would you like to speak for it?
I think it's very important to have compulsory voting. I think it lines us up with state and federal. We are an arm of the government. We are the decision makers on the ground. And I think when we're only getting less than 20%.
Are you speaking for this motion? Councillor Fairland?
That last motion. It's changed now.
Oh,
He's speaking for voluntary.
I'm speaking for voluntary, yes.
That's okay. You moved the motion to get on the table. So if you've got no more,
No.
nothing more to add, speaking for this motion, then I'll go to the councillor who went against the motion, Councillor Gillam.
Hey, without repeating exactly what I said on Monday night, I still have that same view. I think that what brings us into alignment with what the state government is going to do and what the East Coast already does is good business for us to get across it and to understand it. I also think, I also fundamentally agree that a compulsory voting mandate means that people will educate, this is from my perspective, people will educate themselves more on what they're voting for, and they're more likely to turn up and vote and make their vote count rather than the 23% that we currently see. So compulsory voting for me is an absolute positive. The 4-year spill term makes sense to me as well. We do it with state and federal. The state federal is 3 years to 4 years in state, but there is a complete spill, and that runs just fine and dandy. So I think that the local government doesn't need to be any different. I think the only people who care about it is the people around this table, to be fair. I think the constituents at large would go, oh, okay, every 4 years, great. I don't have to vote every 2 years. That's wonderful for me. So that's what I think the constituents would think. I think the only people who really care about it is us. We have this misconception that if we do a 2-year spill, sorry, if we do a 4-year spill, all of the knowledge is going to walk out the door in one go every 4 years, when we know it's not. We know from history, from state and federal elections, that that's just not how it rolls. So I don't think it's a risk for us to support 4-year terms. I think that it would also be more financially sustainable for the local governments, ours, to run an election every 4 years, less impact on the staff. And as I said, I don't think the constituents really are going to be up in arms about it. Yeah, so finished on my soapbox. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councillor Gillam. Councillor Johansson, would you like to speak for the motion?
Yeah, speaking with a lot of people in the Roebourne community, they feel it's just going to be persecution on them because it's going to be extra fines to them for not making an effort to vote or missing the day. As we've been explained here, we're being told that we're going to be responsible for chasing up the fines of people not voting. And then we don't even get the income from it. Like you've advised me that the income is going to go to the state government. So we're just another revenue collector for the state government. And I know the state government's going to go down the path of implementing this anyway, but it's a great opportunity to say FU to the state government because the people can have their own choice. I think the spilling of council every 2 years, to say it's more financially stable for us is a fallacy when you've told us in the information that it's going to double the cost of running the election being compulsory versus voluntary. You said the costs are going to pretty much double. Yeah, also, like, I love the thought of making people vote. I really do. I think it might, force people to pay attention, but it honestly won't. You tell somebody to do something, most people sort of hate the fact that they've been told to do something and they rebuke against it. So a lot of the people that vote now in council elections are the ones that do half care and sort of pay attention to things. The others, you try and make them vote, they're going to vote for the one that looks the prettiest, or the one that's, like half relatable to them. You could say anything. You could promise unicorns and rainbows in your election campaign and people will vote for that shit because that's how stupid people are. Like a lot of people don't care and they just want us to get on and do it. They're, sick of completing community surveys and then us not listening to them. I'd love to make people vote and the state government will do it anyway. But I think shouldn't be forced upon them.
Thank you, Councillor Johansson, for your views. is there anyone else that wants to speak for the motion? No? Right, we'll put it to the vote. So those all in favour of the motion as it stands? 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can capture the names of Swaffer, Byrne, Roots, Johansson, and myself.
Yeah.
And those against the motion? Councillor Furlong, Councillor Gillam. So the motion has carried. Right. Thank you for all the discussion. Semi-debate. Okay, and well, before we start, I want to say, as well, considering I'm the chair and I'm voting for the motion. I mean, my reasoning still stands that I, with all due respect to the minister, the minister does need to do a bit more work to convince local government across the sector that this is a good idea. There's still a lot of unanswered, or there's still questions and information that needs to come to local government and how the government plans to roll out this election and how the actual cost to local government that's going to incur. Finding out factually, is the fine enforcement going to be the same as it is federally, state, and then past local? So I think there's a bit more work to be done, and I'm not comfortable providing support to our Western Australia Local Government Authority when they are the advocates on behalf of the local government who will go out there on our behalf and ask the government for the information or more information that's required for the other 138 local governments there are, in order to get them halfway to thinking that this is a good idea or not. Okay, so if that is it, then we have matters behind closed doors, of which there is just attachments. Item 8 is the closure and date of next meetings. The meeting is closed at 5:30 p.m. and back onto our original OCM meeting will be held here on the 23rd of March at 6 p.m. at Council Chambers. So thanks everyone for your attendance. And we'll now move into our workshop.